Good morning, I'm Connie Romans with Oklahoma CareerTech, and this is CareerTech Conversations. This morning I'm talking to Elle and Emma Yates, and they're both seniors at Stillwater High School, and they're both active in FFA and agricultural education. So first of all, thank you both for being here. And the observant viewers will also notice that you both have the same last name, so let's just get that out of the way.
We are twins, and we really enjoy being able to do stuff through FFA together and experience all of the fun things we get to do.
I'm guessing as twins, you do a lot of the same things together. Is that the only reason why you're both in FFA? Did one of you convince the other one this was the place to be and the thing to do?
So our dad actually made a deal with us when we were coming into 8th grade, because he used to be an ag teacher, so he was involved in ag education and FFA. And so he said, you guys have to take an ag class for 1 year, and if you don't like it, you don't have to take it anymore. And it kind of backfired on him, because then he got stuck taking us to contests and shows every weekend.
So once you were in, you were hooked, I'm assuming. Either one of you say, you go on with this, I've had enough?
I've kind of told her that about vet science. She is extremely good at it, and it is not my cup of tea. And so she goes to all the practices, and I am there if they need an extra person. So similarly, I don't love livestock judging. I love the judging side of it, but I don't love giving reasons, and so I let Ellie take that over and kind of do all the livestock judging side of things.
Your dad, being someone with an ag background and someone with an FFA background, probably wasn't surprised that two young ladies decided to not only be in FFA, but you both are holding chapter offices. Is that correct?
Yes. I'm currently serving as our chapter chaplain, and Emma is currently serving as our chapter treasurer. There we go.
You've been all over the state, and in fact, I think you just got back from a national contest. Is that correct?
Yeah, we got back from National Convention a couple months ago.
What were you seeing in terms of gender equity at the national level? You're not unusual being females in FFA.
We've actually seen a switch more recently, I would say, that a lot more girls are participating in ag. Right now, at the local level, at our chapter, there's actually 8 girls in the officer team and 1 boy, and it's been that way for the last 3 years.
Wow.
There's not a lack of male peers in our FFA chapter. However, there is a lack of male leaders. And they're something that we hope for the future is for more of our male peers to step up to the leadership roles.
Well, let's talk more about Indiana. Stillwater High School, Stillwater Junior High both did very well out there. Emma, tell me about your performances.
So I specifically was there competing in agri-science. Me and my partner had a plant systems project about whether adding melatonin to cotton seeds would help them germinate better and faster. And Stillwater FFA as a whole had a very, very successful time. We ended up having 4 national champion projects, and we had 15 gold emblem projects, which is the first time in our FFA chapter history that all of our national projects were gold emblem. And we also had the incredible opportunity to win Models of Excellence, which makes us the #1 chapter in the nation, and Premier Chapter for Building Communities for the $5 challenge that we do with the freshmen.
Wow, we have a lot to go back to, but let's talk about your performance there.
So at Nationals, I was competing in my agri-science project, and that was about how differing bedding types can affect ammonia levels, and how the bedding types can affect those to help or hurt animals.
Here's one thing you do that is dramatically different. How did you even begin to choose or narrow your topics of study?
So personally, I have a partner for agri-science, because you can either do it alone or with a partner. And me and my partner have very differing interests. And so plants are something we can kind of agree on. We both enjoy learning about and kind of being able to germinate the plants and see what happens. And for me, I've done it by myself for 2 years. I had a partner. I've had a partner before, and this year I have another different partner. And I have a large realm for my projects. I've had 2 chicken projects, and last year I had an environmental project. all three of those projects had to do with animal health and how we can get them to grow and keeping them safe. And then this year I have a project that is in power and tech, and it has to do with bacteria and keeping our animals healthy and clean by differing lubricants for clipper blades.
Wow. You're going to have to dummy that down for me, maybe nobody else, but what exactly does that mean?
I'm still capturing what all of it means. But pretty much there is 4 different lubricants. They're oil-based, and there are some that are more used for lubricating. There's some that are more used for cleaning, and we're trying to determine how those are advertised and seeing how they actually affect the bacteria we're using, E. coli. And this project has just started, so I don't have major results yet. We haven't even figured some of those out yet, but right now they're sitting in the incubator, and we keep on checking on them to see how the E. coli is growing in each of the different types of lubricant sprays and disinfectants.
Why is this important?
Keeping animals safe from whenever they get clipped. You have to clip animals for shows, and that's clipping their hair down so you can see more of their muscle. And many animals get clipped multiple times, and sometimes you will use the same clipper blades for multiple different animals, and so the transferring of bacteria from one animal to another can harm the animals. And so we're trying to keep them clean and safe. And bacteria can stay on clipper blades for a lot longer than you think. So knowing if it's disinfected or not can help us keep animals safer.
You know, there are people watching and listening that are saying, oh my gosh, they're learning this in high school. Tell me more about your project and what ramifications there are when you're finished with it.
So this year, my project is actually a social systems project, and me and my partner are actually looking into how prepared ag teachers feel to teach students with special needs. Because in ag, there isn't some of the representation and diversity that we probably want, and so we feel that if ag teachers were better prepared to teach different types of kids, then we may have more diversity in the future.
What drew you toward special needs students?
So this is actually a project that Mr. Branscombe, one of my ag teachers, did for his dissertation with his doctorate. And so that kind of sparked the idea for me and my partner. And my partner, Riley Gacious, also volunteers at a camp called Make Promises Happen, which is a camp for kids with special needs. And she has thousands and thousands of service hours from spending time there. It's one of her favorite places.
Now, Elle, you said your project is nowhere near completion, and I don't know, it may be years before results are definitive. Are you going to continue to participate in FFA beyond high school?
I will not be continuing much past high school. I'll be continuing to try to get my American FFA degree. However, I'm not going to be running for state office or national office. So, but agri-science probably won't stop. I'll probably continue to keep on testing different things to see how we can help our agricultural community.
Now, when I was growing up, my mother probably assumed I would either be a school teacher or a cosmetologist because that's what she was. I didn't have a role model that said, you can pretty much do with E. coli anything you want to do. Tell me about what it was like growing up with a non-traditional mom.
So our mom kind of had to get the hang of the whole ag thing. When we were around 8 or 9 years old, we actually got a couple cows and we had them at our house. And it definitely took her some time to get used to. And then the conversation when we wanted to start showing was more with our mom than it was with our dad. Our dad was kind of like, whatever you guys want to do, we'll make sure that you get what you need. And actually this year, for my senior year, I have a show steer. And it took 2 years to convince my mom that it was worth it to show one. It actually took one of my ag teachers, Mr. Nipper, kind of talking to her and being like, this is a good choice. She'll have fun with it. She knows what to do, to actually convince her that I should get one.
I don't really know what it means to show pigs and cattle. I mean, to me, as a city girl, it looks a little silly. You're just standing out there holding on to a cow, but obviously there's much more than that. Either one of you can take that.
So the basic idea of showing is kind of to better the species and the breeds. And a lot of people, like we personally show mostly market animals, and so we're showing them for a few months, and then we're actually butchering them and either donating the meat or eating it ourselves. And there's a lot of basic care that kind of goes into animals. So for pigs specifically, you're making sure that they have feed and water and clean pens every day. Along with, we actually walk them with, it's called a whip. It seems kind of scary, but it really doesn't hurt the pigs. It just kind of directs them on where they need to go. And then for cattle, it's a lot of daily hair work. You actually have to blow out a calf like you would blow out your hair, just a giant blow dryer, to make sure that their hair looks good and that it's fluffy and clean.
I can see a whole new business opening up downtown for, the dry bars for cows, I guess. I don't know. Tell me more about the leadership skills that you mentioned earlier. You said that, you both hold leadership positions in your chapter, and you learned a lot about how to lead people. What kinds of things have you picked up?
So through FFA, we have had the opportunity to lead in many different ways. We've gone to many leadership conferences. We've been to Washington, D.C. for one. Along with that, we have been small group leaders for our Payne County Leadership Conference. And currently, Emma and I are serving on the Agricultural Youth Council for our State Department of Agriculture. And that has been an incredible opportunity to discuss things about agriculture and learn and make connections with people who are in the industry, along with our peers that want to further agriculture in the same ways that we do.
Anything you'd like to add?
I think one thing about agriculture and FFA specifically is the amount of leadership that we're exposed to is different than a lot of other organizations because it is a completely student-led organization. So even on the national level, it is kids, basically, college students leading us. And so it really shows how much young people can change the world and can better the agricultural community.
Speaking of changing the world, you mentioned earlier the $5 challenge. I don't care which of you wants to start with that, but I did talk to your advisor, Mr. Branscombe, a little bit about that. From your perspective, cool, not cool?
Yes, the $5 challenge is one of our favorite projects that we get to do through our chapter. So every year, ninth graders get $5, and they are challenged to make a difference with those $5 in our community. And they can join together, and there can be a group, so they can have $15 with 3 kids. And it really shows these ninth graders that you can make a difference with not any money at all. And I think that this project has really helped some of our younger leaders. It helps them see the difference that they can make, and that they are they're never too poor to help anybody else.
What did you do with your $5?
So our ninth grade year was actually during COVID. And so me and Ellie and one of our friends actually came together, and we bought fabric and elastic, and we actually made face masks and donated them to the Humane Society because it was in the peak of COVID.
I just can't stop saying, wow. I mean, all of this is just amazing. Absolutely amazing. We'll start with Elle. You're doing a commercial for FFA. You've got 15 seconds to convince junior high kids, middle school kids, that they will get a whole lot out of this amazing organization. What do you say?
I think that FFA is the perfect opportunity for kids to learn how to public speak, because a lot of people don't realize how much you'll use public speaking in your future, but everyone needs public speaking. Like a teacher will public speak, and if you're in almost any corporate job, you're going to have to talk to your boss, and you want to look professional and act professional. And FFA is just the perfect way to kind of get an introduction into that, and also to kind of break you out of your shell. Because we go to so many leadership conferences and leadership activities, you get to meet so many people, and it kind of helps you open up and just get to meet a lot of people that can help you in your future and that can better the agricultural industry.
the two of you have what appears to be very different personalities. Have you noticed changes in each other as a result of what you've been involved in?
Yes, I have noticed that Emma has really shined through FFA. When we were younger, I'd probably talked a lot more than she did, and now it's probably about the opposite. It's nonstop talking whenever we're around our friends or any leadership conference, and she has really shined through the FFA.
I've just really seen Ellie's confidence build in the last few years because, as we said, she's always been the more talkative one, but it's just been a lot more like confidence in herself and confidence in her public speaking and things like that.
And now you get to speak for yourselves. What are you doing after high school?
I will be attending Oklahoma State University to pursue a degree in architectural engineering.
And your plans after high school?
I'm planning to attend Oklahoma State University and major in animal science with a pre-vet option to, I think, become a large animal vet. I'm still on the fence whether I want to be a large or small animal vet.
When your advisor, Mr. Branscombe, said, this is what we would like you guys to do. We'd like you to come out early on a Tuesday morning and sit on set and talk about things just off the cuff. You probably did a little mental prep, if not even writing some things down. And I didn't ask you everything that you were planning to talk about. So either one of you, do you have things that we just didn't touch base on at all this morning?
So one thing is that we've had a lot of success beyond the national level, just at like the state level and the local level. We had our annual Payne County Leadership Conference where we got to teach a bunch of younger kids and older kids leadership skills that they may not have had. And we've also had a lot of success through our livestock judging team and our cattle grading teams. At livestock judging, we actually came home with a good amount of awards and banners from the Big 3 livestock judging contest over the summer, which is a really big deal because we didn't start livestock judging until a couple years ago. And then through cattle grading, we actually had teams placing at almost every single contest. Our senior team placed first at Westville twice, like 2 years in a row. And then we had a team place in the top 10 at the Tulsa State Fair livestock judging or cattle grading contest, which is the biggest one of the year.
Along with that, for any FFA members watching, you only get out what you put in. So if you don't put in effort and if you don't go to events, you're not going to get much out of the FFA organization. So if you want to better yourself, learn more about agriculture, learn how you can help the agricultural industry, put yourself in a position where you can help everyone.
Why do you suppose your dad was so insistent that you take 1 year of agricultural education?
I think that he had a feeling that we would enjoy it. And because he was an ag teacher at one point, he kind of knew what we'd learn about. And I also think he wanted us to get out of our shells a little bit because I personally used to be really shy, and FFA was the perfect opportunity to get out of my shell.
Well, in terms of public speaking, I am very jealous of all that you have learned, and I have a degree in broadcast, so there you go. For more information about CareerTech student organizations such as FFA, visit the Oklahoma CareerTech website at oklahoma.gov/CareerTech. And don't forget to follow Oklahoma CareerTech on social media. You can find us on Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Thanks for joining us, and we hope you'll join us again for CareerTech Conversations. For Oklahoma CareerTech, I'm Connie Romans.